think probably like many faculty, I did not ever intend to transition to administration. Like a lot of us, I had gone to graduate school. I'd studied something I was really, really engaged with, Victorian literature, and all I really wanted to do in life was to share the joys of Victorian literature with the next generation so we could, through Victorian literature, change the world. I had very much grown up in a kind of Socratic classroom. You know, we sat around for 3 hours and we talked about stuff. So the thought of doing that online was confusing to me. Technology in '05 was not what it is now. So I couldn't imagine it. I have spent the last 20 or so years working in higher education. So the transition to K-12 and corporate is, it's a little bit of a challenge, but I think it's an exciting one. For one thing, I don't think higher ed is as completely different from education in general in all these different sectors as we might first think it is. I actually think K-12 and corporate are ahead of higher ed in certain ways, particularly things like accountability measures, making sure that whatever you say you're doing, and doing things like tying budget to output. I know that for the university professor in me just sounds horrendous, but I don't know why it should, really. At this point, I see online education not as a full-on replacement for residential education, not as something that's competing with it, but as the place we need to go. I think that's just how learning is going to happen moving forward. I think culturally we're at a really difficult spot. COVID was tough. Figuring out how to come out of COVID has been tough. We're sort of at a point now where we don't know how to have rational dialogue any longer as a culture. And I think that needs to start, that training, that education needs to start very early, and needs to continue in the workplace. We really need to think about people as whole people, right? People who are born, right, and who are educated as children, and they go through high school and they try to figure out who they are and what they're about, and they try to learn to think, and they try to learn skills like doing the laundry, which my kids are struggling with. And then they go to higher ed, and that really should be a continuation of those skills. It should be a continuation. It should also be a launching pad out into career. I am really excited to be a partner at Magellan. When you ask questions like what excites me the most, I don't really know because there's several things. The initial attraction, I think we've been talking about me joining Magellan for 5 years or so, quite a while. The thing that excited me the most was working with this team again. We're a team that has worked together in the past. We worked well together. We built some pretty exciting stuff.